I don't know what happened or what was wrong with it, but she was so comfortable. It was so comfortable for her to come out her mouth and then we were right on.
Welcome to another episode of Break Up to Wake Up. Today my guest is Blan. She is a former professional athlete and now a really dope artist. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add to your resume about yourself?
Not right now, but if it comes up, I'll let you know.
Yes. Okay. And just a little bit of like kind of background about the show. The purpose is not necessarily to, like bash our exes or like talk shit about them, even maybe like a little bit. But that's not like the purpose. It's okay. It's okay to do like a little bit, but that's not like the purpose. The purpose is kind of more to like reflect on these experiences and how they impacted us. And kind of just build community around a really isolating experience like heartache. And also before we get started, all these questions are totally optional. If there's anything you're not comfortable talking about or answering, that's like totally fine, just say so. Yeah. Because I want this to feel positive and good, not like traumatizing or anything.
Gotcha.
Okay. So and also the people that I've kind of had on the past have been like pretty good about just kind of not mentioning anyone's name. But if you prefer to just like use names, I can like bleep it out for like privacy reasons, or if it's just whatever,
I don't see myself using names.
Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, that's usually what people have been doing.
I like to respect some anonymity.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay. So, question number one. If I were to ask you what was the most like impactful or like painful kind of heartache you've experienced, does one jump out, or would you say it's like multiple experiences kind of come up?
I would say a little bit of both. One definitely jumps out, but I guess I kind of had like an extreme reaction, like one of those breakdown moments.
It just really got to you.
It was more visual, I guess, in the first one. Like when I look back, with the second one, I don't know if I hit it better or if I just got a little bit.
You're like a little
better
more
at dealing with it.
Oh, you're a little more composed.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess like before, because I think you had mentioned those relationships were kind of when you were like in your early 20s and your later 20s. So kind of for the one in your early 20s, where would you say you were kind of at in life when that relationship started? Like, were you like in college, or were you like still living at home, or were you like an independent adult yet? Like kind of where were you at when that one started?
I was actually just coming out of college. I think I had just graduated from college. And I was like, I played basketball in college, so I was still I would go back and like work camps in the summer. Okay. And it was like, I guess right at the end of my college career, and then that summer it happened.
Okay. So here, where did you play in college?
Vanderbilt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, in Nashville.
Oh, that's prestigious.
Yeah, country town.
Okay, and then where would you say you were kind of at in life for the one in your later 20s, the more recent one?
I was actually retiring basketball.
Okay.
That happened. So it kind of like, I guess, life shifts.
Like you were in like a transition period.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I didn't even really notice it until you said that.
Okay. Did you ever play like overseas?
Yeah. I started out in Luxembourg, which is like one of the smallest countries in Europe. But it was fun there. Like the quality of life is great because it's a pretty wealthy country. And then I went to Romania, and then a really small island in Greece, and then I retired out of Switzerland.
Oh, cool. Okay. So you kind of like got back to the U.S. and then met someone.
Yeah,
like, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was hard to meet somebody overseas, like long term. I guess never having practiced the long term because I was at a relationship before. I had moved overseas, but it wasn't until I got back that I found somebody.
Okay.
Maybe I was looking for somebody to avoid what I wanted to do next.
Like avoid answering that question.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
But yeah.
That's fair. Okay. I think I'll don't know, I was trying to decide if I want to kind of go back and forth between both because I kind of would like to talk about both like a little bit. But so the one in your earlier 20s, how did you meet that person and what was your kind of first impression of them?
We were actually teammates.
Oh wow, so stereotypical.
Right. There you go. But yeah, I mean, it didn't start right away. But gradually, you spend more time around somebody, then those feelings develop, and then in college you mix in alcohol with that, and you know, there's a recipe for disaster.
yeah. I felt like I was really when I met my first girlfriend, who was like also like kind of my longest relationship and my big ex. I was in the closet all through high school, so I didn't really date in high school, and so I was like 18, like a freshman in college. I went to a new state where I didn't know anyone, and I was like, you know, able to date for the first time. So I was like, I feel like I was just really ripe. Just immediately fall in love with someone, feel hard right at the beginning.
I was gonna say, it's very easy for some reason with women. It's like unspoken bond just right off, or spoken trauma we don't want to deal with, you know. But yeah, that's how it happened with me the first time. But we did have to keep it a secret because I guess we were told teammates shouldn't date, because I think they did in the past, and it just kind of screwed up the dynamic. But no, we kept it secret for a while.
Okay.
And then it didn't really seem to affect anybody until people kind of started asking questions.
Oh, okay.
Both be gone, and then they'd be like, you know, where's so-and-so and so-and-so? Like, they're, and it's Christmas break, so nobody's on campus, but us and like sports or football. So we were very careful in that sense. But then it was kind of like on and off. Like, kind of, let's see if we can get away with this without anybody knowing again. And then I think towards the end, just, I don't know if it like fizzled out or what for one of us. It's just, I guess it just seemed cool. Like, we were both kind of, I want you in my life, but I'm not sure how this is gonna work.
It's like, I like you and I value you, but I'm not sure if this is supposed to be what we're trying to make it be.
And I was cool with that. I was like, I don't know about the long distance thing. You know, we'll see.
That was like after college, y'all were going different places?
No, so that's what we had like said before, and then it was like cold turkey. Like, she just stopped talking to me, and I was still supposed to go work the camp. Like, we had spoken about it, and I was like, well, this is gonna be awkward as shit. So I went, and she kind of like pretended like I didn't exist, which is like, that was a new experience for me. But yeah, that was kind of like heartbreaking. I guess the one thing you want is to be seen, you know,
at least like
or
acknowledged,
heard, right? You know. But yeah, so that ended that way, and then all our mutual friends kind of got caught in the middle, and it was like weird for a while. And then she texted me like, she FaceTimed me, I want to say last year, like during COVID, you know, when everybody was kind of like,
just like check-ins,
sitting in their feelings, you know, I guess. And I answered, and she was like, I just want to like, you know, apologize. Like, I shouldn't. And I was like, well, that's cool. Like, it'd be nice not to have to block those 4 years out, you know, because somebody pissed me off. But yeah, you know, it is what it is now.
Yeah, okay, so y'all hadn't really spoken since then until that?
No.
Yeah, I guess COVID definitely brought out a lot of emotions in certain people.
Yeah, I mean, a few of my exes came back.
Oh, wow.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, people got real lonely.
Real reflective. Yeah.
Yeah, real thinking about the past.
What have I done?
And the more recent one, how did you meet that one, when you were kind of just like coming back into the US, trying to get like figure stuff out, and then it just like kind of just happened? Like, how did that happen? We met on Tinder. Everybody meets. And we met when I was still playing, and it was like a little summer fling. And then she like, I saw her on TV. Like, I guess she's like semi-famous. But I saw her on TV when I was in Switzerland, and so I hit her up. And then when I came home, we just kind of reconnected. But funny story, I didn't know that. I didn't do any research on her. Like, I don't think I was following her on Instagram at the time. She was engaged at the time. Oh.
Yeah, she didn't mention that before we actually met up.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
that whole situation developed.
Okay. Wow. So it was like a affair.
No,
Or would
he
you not use
was
that
he was
word?
there.
Oh.
Very
Oh.
present
Okay.
for
Okay. Oh, I
all
think
of
you
it.
mentioned that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And I think that was when I was still trying to figure out what I wanted. Like, I was back and forth between men and women, and I don't know, for some reason I couldn't decide. It was like, I had my heart broken by both. So it was really just about finding the right person. But then after that, I realized like I had just been, I guess, convincing myself that I wanted to be the man. And looking back, maybe with the exception of like my high school, puppy love, I don't really think I've ever felt felt the way I felt about a woman, about a man.
Okay.
Or just felt like that type of connection, I guess. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that you were kind of like actively trying to date both of them and just on a three-way relationship. Okay. And it was just kind of not really fulfilling you.
No, I think that me and him were actually too much alike. You know how they say opposites attract?
Yeah.
So that was like me and her and him and her.
Okay.
But as far as the like and the like, I hadn't, at the time, I don't think I had really accepted that of who I known who I was at the time. So I wasn't able to see, like, I didn't even really care about the qualities in him, to be honest. Like, he was kind of just there sometimes.
Okay.
And I hate to say that now because at the time it was like, all right, maybe we can all make this work. Like, everything else was cool besides the getting to know you part.
Yeah.
which is a pretty big part, now that you think about it.
Yeah. I guess also with that, I've kind of always been open-minded to doing things like that. Like, I've kind of had a similar experience, like, but I wasn't like, there was not an engagement in my experience. Like, I was always kind of open-minded to it. It's like, were you like open-minded to that before, or was it kind of just you were like, I like this woman so much that I am willing to try this?
I think I was open to it before because I had dated men and women. But I think because she was more of an aggressive woman, and I was like, that was what I attracted at the time, and I like that. Then I was like, oh, we can make this work. Like, if I fall for her and then she like see things about him and like I think that we're so much alike, then I'll be able to see that as well.
Yeah.
But that is literally just like fooling yourself into a fantasy. And you don't get to really click in or check into reality and see things for what they are. Instead, you see everything that wants to fit that fantasy that you already created in your head. Yeah.
Very true. Yeah. So with both of these situations in your early 20s or late 20s, can you kind of describe some things that really attracted you to these women at the beginning? Like, or where you were like, I really like this about you, like I'm really into this about you, and like that like drew you in with both of them?
They're funny. Like, she was goofy, and to me, he would just be like kind of so oblivious, like that it would be like a cute, kind of goofy, like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was just no communication. Like, I think everybody kind of has two sides. And a lot of times they only want to show you one side, of course. It's like a lot of first dates are just the courting process of dating.
Yeah.
I kind of really like can't really build anything off that. Like, it's fun to get to know people like that, but until you see somebody or somebody like in some type of conflict or where they can talk about it and explain, like, I don't know, if you get to have a peek into their brain or their I don't want to say soul, but when people talk, like, you should be able to feel or I guess pick up on a certain part of who they are at their core.
Yeah, I think that there's like a saying that's like, you don't really know somebody unless you see them go through like a financial hardship, a death, and a
like a heartbreak or something.
Yeah, it's like something like that. But yeah, it's like you really got to see somebody at their worst, like in a few different situations to really know somebody. Yeah,
and I think we've gotten so good at just pulling out the worst in people, especially when we feel hurt. instead of expressing how we feel, like a healthy way. And I caught myself doing it, like, or almost doing it recently. Like, I realized how sensitive I am. Like, I'm a Cancer. So,
Okay.
like, we're sensitive. And I had to realize that about myself, because when someone hurts my feelings, like, my immediate reaction is, give them business. So I don't do that. I'll take a step back, think about it for a day or two, call other people, be like, am I tripping? Like, am I wrong to feel this way? Second, third, fourth, But yeah, I think that when you find somebody that can bring out the best in you, and you can communicate or figure out why they do that and what it is you see in that person that makes you think that, and maybe what it is in you, that brings that out, or whatever it is, that communication and that awareness is kind of what is very important in any relationship.
Yeah.
Not just romantic.
Yeah. Very true. So for that one, like, how long were y'all like attempting this relationship or being in this relationship?
That's a good question. I want to say it was on and off for about like a year.
Okay.
And then I kind of started realizing, I think subconsciously along the lines, I'm gonna be honest, I probably was like, what is his purpose here? Which was completely wrong with me. But not saying anybody was innocent in this relationship. We all had things that we did. But then it became me and her. And they broke up. She broke up with him. It was so stupid too. And I knew that in my mind. I knew that, like, I could have been like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're being crazy right now.
Like, you could have encouraged
go talk to your fiance.
You could have encouraged her to.
Yeah. That's not what I wanted at the time.
Did you feel like you just like wanted her to yourself, or you just wanted him to stop being involved?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. And then, so it was me and her for a while, and then it was like she was still living with him. So it was like me and her, and then him and her, but I didn't really know what was going on over there. So it was just a messy situation. And then it wasn't me and her. We broke up, and then it was her and him again. So I think, even after it was me and her, during that time, I realized that there was some stuff that she did where I was just feeding into the emotional instability within the whole group. I should have handled that a little differently, but you live and you learn.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people's emotions to manage. One person's emotions are allowed to manage. Two people,
you gotta have a lot of balance to make that work, like, and very secure. And that we were not. I don't think any one of us knew who we were.
So, like, kind of throughout things being kind of on and off and like a little like tumultuous, I'm guessing. What were the things that you were feeling that like kept you like coming back, or like wanting to keep trying, or wanting to like figure it out? Like, what were the things that kept you like holding on?
She was really good at knowing exactly what I needed and when to give it. But I was such a giving person that I only required that when it was like the last straw. You know what I mean? And when she knew that, then she would pull it out. And then when I started catching on to it, I don't know, she started getting uncomfortable. And that's why kind of towards the end, I started calling her out a little bit more. And then she started doing like, because they'll break up with you just to see, or I guess to maintain control, like, and to know that they can come back whenever. And so I let her do that like multiple times, but the last time, that was the last time, and yeah.
Okay. My longest relationship, our breakup like really caught me off guard. Like, I was like, I had no idea. Like, she went out with her friends, and I like stayed home for some reason and like cleaned her apartment for her because as I did a lot. Yeah, like literally like doing the laundry, sweeping the floor, doing the dishes, and then she comes home at like 1 a.m. and is like, I want to break up. And I was like, you're drunk, go to bed. And then we went to bed, and then in the morning she woke up and she was like, I'm not drunk, I was serious. And I was like,
Damn.
oh,
Care to explain?
yeah, I was just
Maybe
like,
a little bit.
yeah, even as I'm kind of thinking about it now, I feel like I don't even recall like what, if we ever even really had a conversation about what exactly she was unhappy with in our relationship. 'Cause I thought we were fine. I was like, what?
Right. Did you ever get that closure?
No, I feel like I found closure at some point, just like with time. But I was like, I don't feel like I don't actually know what you were unhappy with. You know, I think all of the dating that we tried to do after the breakup, I knew what she was unhappy with. That was because it was just, I never really got over the initial breakup. So every time we tried to get back together, I was still very insecure. I was resentful. I was angry.
This isn't a new person. This is
it's like you've already like broken my heart, and then I'm just still here, you know. So I knew that was why she was unhappy after that. But like in the actual relationship, I don't really know if I ever knew. But
I will say, just a quick note on that.
Yeah.
If I had been dating someone like throughout, like, you know, period after you break up with that person, like, and it's like a big breakup, you know, you have to go through some stuff, and it's probably not best to just start dating someone else like right after that. If I had, I probably would have done that to somebody, just like, you know, been my loving self, and then one day just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even really like this person. Like,
yeah, I feel like that's what she was doing with someone else,
and that's not fair at all, because nobody deserves that. But yeah, when you don't realize or you don't want to own up to that, then that's the type of person that you are. That's what happens. Yeah. And you're not that, like, I've heard that happen to multiple.
Yeah, it's also definitely not a good idea to have a big breakup and then keep dating the person that broke up with you.
Probably not. Something bad's gonna happen on one end or the other. Like, you either revenge dating or you gonna let the same thing happen. Yeah.
But so if you can recall, like, the first time that there was like a breakup in that kind of situation, was it kind of like little things were all building up, or like one like event happened and one of you was just like, okay, I'm done with this?
Are you for the second one?
Yeah.
Well, with me and him, it was when I told you it was like the stupidest thing. Got unengaged, and I was just like, okay. So I guess that was the big thing with me and him. But again, it wasn't like I physically broke up with him. Like, it was just like, all right, well, he's out of the picture.
Yeah.
But with her, yeah, it was probably a bunch of little stuff. And then we did have like one big argument, and she just like, lost it on me. Not physically. It's like, we're not gonna be one of those couples.
Yeah.
No, and then that I think was like because I said something that like just really like ticked her off, and then that was about it.